Google. So, hello everybody.
I got Easter candy because our child got so much Easter candy from everyone. There's more Easter candy than she could ever eat in a lifetime. So, good morning, everybody. I see that everyone has kind of been talking it up this morning, which we kind of talked about that in the group. Lori and Linda Sue, of course, you're here. You're always here. Rosetta, Ashley, and Dolly's here. Congratulations to Dolly. And Lissa is in the UK, so she's probably asleep right now. But Dolly and Lissa are our new moderators. Kitty, what are you doing back there? They're our new group moderators, and they're going to be helping out in the group. So if you haven't had a chance to say hello to them, be sure to do that in the group. Behind us, this is the fan mail that we've received so far. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packages. And when a bunch of people sent stuff, it just hasn't arrived yet. So when we receive 10, we will be recording our actual video for those. But I just wanted to let you guys know that those are arriving. If you haven't had the opportunity to send something and you want to, the P.O. box is down below. The rules and guidelines are down below. And some of the product, what we're going to do, because we can't possibly keep, a million products from you guys, nor would we want to, because that's not really going to help you out as much. No. We're going to do the public unboxings on the channel. We're going to record it. We're going to give you a shout out. Be sure to include your business card. What is he doing?
Messing with something over there. Don't worry about it.
And then the products that we don't end up keeping for the Alpha Wall, or products that weren't made like special for us. For example, if you make something custom just for us, we won't give it away. But the other stuff is going to be grouped together in giant alpha giveaways. And I would like to do those every few months. That way,
it's something that I really want, and then I'm going to keep it.
Right. It's like most of the stuff is going to be in giveaways unless it's something that we really want. And then it's going to go on the wall for advertising. So, and that's what we're going to be decorating that back wall with. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Handmade Art. Good more night. Yeah. Or let's see. Oh, it's nighttime where you live. Oh, we're a little bit tired.
Yeah, today. I've been napping all morning. I'm not going to be super lively today. I've been napping all morning. I'm tired.
He's always tired during streams. Huh? But
my schedule always gets messed up towards the end of the week. So at least my
where would
on point here?
Where would a stained glass wolf go? I don't know, because we would just have to figure that out as we go. I'm not sure where all the products are going. And another thing, a lot of people have messaged us and said, pick something from my shop that you want. We're not going to do that.
No.
Just send us something, because it's
too much work, too much time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. Like if you want to send us something, send anything that you want, something that that we could put in a giveaway or that would go on the wall.
Not to mention, I mean, we wouldn't want to pick something and you would be expecting us to pick something else and offend somebody. And obviously it probably wouldn't offend everybody, but there's one person out there that we would end up offending by picking something like a cheaper product. Because if we're looking through a shop, we see something that's like $100, we're not going to want to pick that.
Right.
But if that's something you want to send us, then send it to us.
Right. And we don't really have personal preferences and things like that. So just send us whatever, send us whatever you want.
I'm not picky.
And, if it's going in a giveaway, somebody's going to be happy to have it. And you're going to, have your business card right in there. That's why I said, be sure to include your business cards if you send us anything, because when we resend those out to our giveaway winner, we want to make sure that they also have your business cards. So good morning, everyone. Wow. We have a lot of people tuning in today. Today, we're going to be talking about the differences between all of the major social media platforms, minus Vero, because we haven't really, though people are using it, we don't know enough about it to really be able to talk about it, other than the fact that it's a lot like Instagram. So we're not going to be covering that one, but we are going to be covering Tumblr, which is one that a lot of people don't cover. And it's one that I use pretty frequently. So if you are experienced in social media, if you know all of these platforms, this is not going to be the Q&A for you, simply because we're just going over some of the newbie aspects. We're not going to so much go into like paid advertising and the paid features chapters within each of those, we're just going to be talking about the type of content that performs well and what each social media platform is for. Like, why would you join this platform? What can you expect from it? What is the premise of each? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, but we've got about 4 minutes to hang out with you guys. So,
excuse me.
I wanted to tell you guys a super quick story from this morning, actually. And it's just something funny that we do every time that we're out in public. It never fails. If we see someone or we associate with another human being, like today it was the drive-through guy at Tim Hortons, we always create a very elaborate backstory.
Like we tell their whole life story.
We create their life story. Like on the drive home from Tim Hortons today, we had this really nice guy who
his name was Greg.
Well, we don't know that, but
his name was
that's
Greg.
What we named him. He was this really nice guy. And normally the lady who works at our Tim Hortons is really bitter in the morning. She's
angry.
She's so angry.
So angry. Like you pull up to the so speaker thing, and she's like, "Welcome to Tim Hortons. What can I make fresh for you today?"
Like she's so
pissed off.
And we are always super nice to her because I thought maybe she's just having a bad day and no one's been nice to her. So we always act super duper nice. Like we are just so nice to her and super polite, and she just shuts it down. She is just not having
angry.
She's so angry.
I don't get it.
But
what did life do to you?
I have no idea why she's so angry. But this morning it was like a new guy. He was super enthusiastic.
Oh, our lady was still at the speaker.
Yeah.
But he was
served us.
He served us. He was at the window.
He handed us our receipt and it was really long. And
he's like, here's a really, really long receipt. I should work in the receipt industry. Like he was super dorky.
Yeah, it was really funny. But on the way home, we created a very elaborate backstory for him. We talked about his name is Greg. And what all did we say about?
Oh, he was picked on in high school and this, that, and the other. I don't want to get too deep into it,
but he decided that he's just gonna be nice to everyone, and he's just gonna he's got he's got his wife, and he loves his job working at Tim Hortons, and he's super happy doing it, and he doesn't have a reason to be mad at anyone. Like he just has a whole backstory now. But then I told him we get so attached to the stories that we have.
We hold on to that. Every time we see him, he will forever be Greg.
And I told him if we convince ourselves that his name is Greg,
we're gonna end up saying it.
We're gonna end up driving up to the window.
Greg.
Bye, Greg, and he's just gonna stand there and have no idea why we're calling him Greg. So that's our story for the day. When you're angry at someone, like on the road, there's road rage, rather than like freaking out.
If you can see their face, try to create a backstory for them, and maybe you'll understand why they're such a piece of crap driving on the road.
Yeah, we always give someone, like, if anyone like annoys us or makes us mad, rather than like yelling or doing the road rage, we always think of just some elaborate backstory for them. And then
you have to see their face though. You have to, if you see somebody you've never met before, you can kind of give them a name. Some people you can't, but some people you look at them and you're like,
Greg.
That's Greg.
That's Greg.
That's Brad.
That's Brad. That's Chad. Everybody has a name.
Everybody has a Chad. We're not going to get into that.
Everyone has a name, and then we give them, like, we talk about where they work, and it gets really intense. So
I've called somebody by a name I've made up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet, but we're going to end up doing that because we get Tim Hortons like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, we get really, really attached to the names that we give to people. Well, anyway.
It's almost noon. We did want to warn you guys. We have been having some issues with YouTube randomly logging us out. So if we just randomly disappear, try to refresh the page. If not, go to our YouTube channel and just keep refreshing because we'll start the live stream back up under a different stream.
Yeah.
That happens.
So, and
is that a key tattoo? Of course it is.
It is. It's actually one of the very first keys that I ever made. I'm not super duper happy with how this one turned out because it's also one of my first tattoos.
We went to like a really crappy tattoo
It's nowhere
parlor.
Near as elaborate as these.
A really crappy tattoo parlor, but my tattoo from the same place turned out really good.
You had a better artist than I did.
Who left?
Yeah, he wasn't there when I got mine. But anyway, always check your artist, and when you make a tattoo appointment, request by artist, not by parlor.
Itchy. Sorry if I'm itching my face, but I'm so itchy.
It's allergies.
Yeah.
Really bad allergies. All right, guys. It is noon on the dot. Let's talk about...
Holy crap. You have 2 pages of notes?
They're little notes.
Oh, my goodness.
They're tiny notes.
She's trying to keep me here all day.
It's I mean,
you are crazy, lady.
just little notes, just little notes, tiny notes. All right. If you guys want to take notes too, this might be a good time to do that simply because we're going to be talking about the major social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, and Tumblr. So if you are unfamiliar with those platforms and the types of content that should be posted on them and the types of content that perform well, then you might want to write some of this down. So let's go ahead and start with probably the easiest one. We'll go ahead and start with Facebook simply because honestly, I think that everyone has a Facebook page. Everyone is familiar with Facebook for the most part. And though there are types of content that perform better, like, for example, Facebook says that videos perform better than most types of content. Live videos tend to perform the very best. However, Facebook is still pretty much an equal opportunity platform because even though live videos, tend to perform better, there are still photos that get several million shares. So it's more of an equal opportunity type of content platform. And even when you're, you can bounce between photos, videos, live streams, and status updates and still receive great connection as long as you're engaging with your following. So one thing about Facebook that when it comes to photos is when you're posting to your page, not your group. And if you don't know anything about Facebook groups, we covered that last week. Was that last week?
Which one?
The Facebook groups. That was last week, right? Last Friday?
I have no idea.
I think so.
We've done so many of these.
I know. Remember. I think that was last Friday. Just watch last Friday's video or whichever one talks about Facebook VIP clubs, and that'll kind of clear that up. But when you're posting to your actual page, you do have to be pretty deliberate with your photos. You can't just post blurry photos that you snapped with your cell phone and they're, you're taking a picture of your product on a beach towel or something. They actually have to be staged pretty well. If you have an eye for photos and you're able to take good photos with your phone, that's perfectly fine. However, you're not going to want to just snap, quick in the moment photos with poor lighting and things like that. So you do
Unless
have
you're
to
at like
stage
an
them.
event or something like that. That wouldn't be too bad.
Right. But you want to stage them a little bit and actually make sure that you're paying attention to those photos. Now, another thing about Facebook is it is a really great place to engage and hold conversations with fans. So you're not just, on some platforms, someone will comment to you and then you comment back, and then that's about all the engagement that you get. But with Facebook, people are actually more expectant of conversations. So you could actually hold a full conversation with someone when you post a status, they comment, you comment back, and you guys can comment back and forth. People are way more likely to do that because they're getting that notification in their newsfeed. Facebook is based around conversations, talking, and social interactions. So it's a lot easier to connect with customers in that sense and be able to talk back and forth with them. And of course, with Facebook, you also have the ability to create promoted posts and boosting posts and yada, 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 which we're not quite going to get into it that much. We'll save that for another time, but just know that Facebook is a good place to actually boost posts and advertise for very little money. In fact, my posts, when I boost them, we usually do like $5 to $10, right?
Usually 10. I think it's like $10.
Yeah, it's like, and sometimes it'll tell me, oh, your post is doing well. Do you want to extend it? And I'll like add another $1 onto it. So,
did have one question. I heard recently that you don't want to create a page and just use your regular page as a professional page. Your thoughts?
Wait a minute. You don't want to create a page and just use your regular page as a professional page. Your thoughts? What do you mean your regular page? Do you mean like your personal profile?
Yeah,
or
I'm assuming that's what she means.
I wouldn't use your personal profile as a professional page. The thing is, I get what people are doing. They're trying to make a workaround for their business page by creating a personal profile. But the thing is, if we start doing that, Facebook is going to find a way around it. And people, the thing is with business pages, you have the ability to promote.
Yeah,
and
just like
posts.
Linda said, it's using a personal profile for business is against terms of use.
Right. So that's
what groups and pages are for. Right.
That's a workaround that someone thought would be a good idea. If you see any like main big coaches talking about it, I would definitely inform them that does go against their terms of use. I thought that it did. I didn't want to say that, but
I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
And Megan asked, do you think Facebook would come out with something like Etsy since they made their own version of Snapchat and Craigslist? Well, I mean, you can already do like the shop on Facebook thing, but no, I don't think they'll ever come out with something like Etsy.
No, I don't either.
It's too much work. I mean, you got to consider Etsy has like the tax forms that they do. They have their own support. Facebook support is only for like if your account gets hacked and you can't get a hold of them any other time. Like, that's too much work for Facebook to do. They would basically have to open a whole nother branch, and that's not going to happen.
Right, and you got to think about it like this.
Not in the near future. I mean, because I mean, if you think about it, Facebook is like the giant when it comes to social media. They're not going to go the way like MySpace. Like, everybody's talking about this crap that went down with Facebook and the data breach and whatnot. Blah, 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 blah. It's not going to hurt Facebook at all, and it already hasn't. Right. So Facebook's not going to go anywhere. So maybe in the future somebody could, but
it's not going to be Facebook. The thing is, anytime a brand has an established, like they're dominating this category, this is what they're known for. For example, we'll say, you know, McDonald's is known for making hamburgers. Anytime McDonald's tries to stray away from sandwiches and they've tried like pizza and spaghetti and hot dogs, it always fails. So platforms are going to stick to what they're known for. For example, you know, you can now do stories on Instagram and Facebook, but people still prioritize stories on Snapchat. That's where, if you're doing stories and things like that, Snapchat is still the king of that category because they invented it. So you have to really kind of think about even if for some reason Facebook were to do that, I don't think it would go over all that well, because that's not what they're known for. That would be, you know, that's the same as McDonald's trying to sell spaghetti. It just doesn't work out that well.
And Amber said, I don't use my personal for anything other than business, but in a way that I don't post any dirty laundry. My customers can and will see it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good idea.
That's kind of the reason why like my stuff is private and I don't add, like, no offense to anybody, but I don't add any of you guys. Because I like to be able to. She doesn't post anything like inappropriate anymore.
Because I add everyone.
She's much higher visibility than I am. I'm not a lot of people are adding me, but I have had a few people add me. I think I added one person that I had mutual friends with anyway. But I don't add any of the alphas because I like to be able to post my memes and stuff like that. But I don't know. And Melanie said, I always share my shop page to personal page. Is that okay? I mean, sharing it on
your
page,
you can share it.
Totally fine. You're promoting your product, being proud. It's the opposite that I wouldn't want to do.
Right. You can't create a personal profile and stage it as a business account. That's not
technically
what it's for.
Against terms of use. But there's an Etsy app I'm using that's perfect for Facebook that I'm using. If anybody wants a link, I can post it in the group. Yeah, sure.
Can you use hashtags and or tagging friends for the Facebook ads? I don't. The thing is, Facebook isn't really big. Like, you can use hashtags on Facebook and people tell you to do it, but people don't click hashtags on Facebook. It's not a hashtag platform. So though hashtags are active, have you ever clicked Facebook hashtags? I mean, honestly, post in the comments if you regularly click Facebook hashtags, because like 90% of people don't. It's kind of just, I think that it's good if you have a consistent hashtag that you want to get out there for Instagram, and you know that people who follow you on Facebook also follow you on Instagram. So you want to shout out that hashtag so people kind of see it more frequently and are more likely to use it. However, most people are not clicking it. I click on hashtags. Nope, I don't. They never lead to where you think. So you can do it, but I don't really think that Facebook is a platform built for hashtags and around hashtags like some of the others.
Yeah, Amber said never click on Facebook hashtags. It's not as big of a problem as it used to be, man. You used to click on it and it was nothing but naked dudes.
Yeah.
It's not as bad anymore. Facebook, apparently they were just ignoring their hashtag system and like weren't clicking on their own hashtags because it didn't matter what it was.
It was so bad.
Right. It could have been like hashtag coffee and crumpets or something, and it would just be a butt, be the first thing you see when you pop it up.
Sorry if you guys hear the cats. They're
going nuts. The cat's finally out of heat, so she's nice and hyper and active.
Can't make my profile too private though. I
volunteer at a local radio station, and my live vids are radio lectures.
Then just don't post anything on don't post dirty laundry on your Facebook. That's kind of what we were going at.
Make a second Facebook that's completely private just for your own use. You know, I think you used to do that. You don't do that anymore.
Not that I had a separate page for people to follow me,
anymore.
But
and it's not, somebody said memes are cool. It's not just memes. I post a lot of political stuff, and I don't ever get out of the house because this is what we do.
Right.
And I like to argue politics because I think it's important that people not be stupid. So I like to argue politics. And sometimes, like, I'm sure some of you would agree with some of my political views. So I'd rather just keep you guys out of that. You don't need to see that. This is a professional relationship we got here.
Right. And for me, I pretty much, like, I used to be that teenager who posted every time anyone got mad at me, or anytime anyone annoyed me, or anytime my, an appliance was broken in the house, I would post a status about it. Like, I used my Facebook as a diary. And now looking back, it's like cringy to think about how I just posted everything on Facebook, because now I'm like, I don't even post. I barely post on Facebook at all unless I'm sharing business stuff, because I don't focus on that. I have better ways to use my time than to sit and post on Facebook and post statuses about everything. So,
yeah.
And it's
I don't ever post statuses.
Yeah.
I just share things, or I comment on other people's stuff.
It's very relieving to stop doing that. And when you feel that impulse, like something makes you mad and you want to post a status about it, but then you really think and you say to yourself, what would I accomplish by doing this? What's this going to change? How could I better use my time? You begin to detach from it if you were addicted to it, like I was at one point, where I just wanted to post nonstop. I felt very addicted to it because I did it constantly. And now
she's still on her phone constantly, but now she's not posting.
I'm in the alpha group constantly and reading and making sure that there's, even if I'm not posting, I pretty much read everything that's posted in the alpha group. But the thing is, I want you guys to be able to help each other, because that's the whole point. Like, if I sat and answered every single question in there, it would kind of take away from the purpose of the pack mentality, where you guys are helping each other. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to Instagram, since I know that that's probably the second most popular platform for business. Obviously, Instagram is for photo and video sharing, and it's estimated that more people watch videos than photos, but you don't want to only post videos. So you're going to want an even mix in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all had that moment. We're scrolling through and we see something that catches our eye, and you want to scroll back up to it and see what's going on.
Right.
Like, you don't just want videos.
And if you don't, if you don't have the ability to constantly post videos and you don't have interesting content, you can make photo videos with the app Ripple. It's RIPL. It was one of my favorites for a while. I haven't used it in a long time, but you can create little animations that go over top of your photo, and they're really, really pretty. Like, you can do cool text, and I see a couple alphas using it. I shouted it out a couple months ago, and I noticed a bunch of alphas start using it.
Is that what people are using to make those memes on Facebook into videos, so that way they bypass the new filter?
No, that is a new thing that people are doing.
I hate that.
Oh,
they started doing that before they even applied that filter. Like, they already beat the system before the system started.
Yeah, I did. I forgot one thing about Facebook. Make sure that when you're posting like photo ads on Facebook, that you're not posting like big horizontal photos. Make sure that when you're posting to your business page, you're posting perfectly square photos. It really doesn't matter what size they are. Ideally, you want them to be at least 600 by 600 pixels.
Right.
But square photos are going to display the very best on both mobile and on a desktop. And that's why you see almost all videos now on Facebook are perfect squares, like the tasty videos and like BuzzFeed and all the news, like the ones that have like little shareable news stories, like Now This, those are all perfect squares. So, and Instagram, of course, is the same way. All of your content should be a perfect square, because even if you're posting a photo that's horizontally and it's showing in people's actual face or Instagram news feed horizontally, when they go to your profile, it doesn't look very visually appealing and cohesive for people who are visiting your Instagram profile to see photos that are cut off because they were meant to be displayed horizontally, and in your profile, they're being displayed as squares. So if at all possible, it's always good to make sure that you're cropping those photos as a perfect square.
Betty said, sorry, just signed in. What was the app? Ripple?
Ripple, and it's 1P, not 2. So RIPL. Or is it LE? RIPLE, I think. Yeah, RIPL. That's what I thought. All right. So another thing about Instagram that's a lot different than Facebook. With Facebook, you can create like photos and marketing photos, and you can't really boost or advertise with photos that have too much text on them. It's 20%, and then your reach gets kind of cut a little bit. But with Instagram, posts that have lots of text and staged photos that you made like in iPicky, things like that, they don't do as well. On Instagram, what people like to see are in the moment style photos, lifestyle photos. For example, for me, I wouldn't just reshare my keys like on the white background on Instagram. I have in the past. Those don't do as well as if I were to take that key outside, lean it like against a little rock in the garden and take a picture and share that. That's the type of photo that's going to do well. So you want to avoid putting a bunch of text and things like that on those photos. They typically don't perform as well as normal photos, which the best way to do this is just test it for yourself. Post one photo of one of your products in a lifestyle setting, then post another photo of the exact same product maybe a day later, and maybe stage it with like text and make it actually look like an advertising photo, and then see how those differ. And I can almost guarantee you that the post that is set in that lifestyle setting is going to do much better. So does Instagram have a length limit for movies? For videos? Yes. Instagram videos have to be very short, but there are workarounds. You just have to have Instagram for Business. You can post longer content and stuff. I'm not going to quite go over that because it's kind of a long process, but there are YouTube videos that can teach you how to create longer videos for Instagrams. Let's see.
Instagram is less formal than Facebook. Yeah, kind of.
Yes, it's less formal, but you still have to post deliberately and stage those photos. So once again,
and
they
be
can't
consistent. You still need to be consistent.
Right. They can't be like unprofessional. They still need to be staged, deliberate, very clear. Your photos have to be crisp, clear, and otherwise people are just going to scroll past them.
That's specifically what Instagram is for. If you're taking crappy pictures, people are just going to scroll right past it.
Right, exactly. And my personal favorite Instagram profile to follow right now, I just found them a couple weeks ago, and I really want to buy one of their products. If you have your phone with you right now, look up the account Lens Ball, and it is...
Oh, those are so cool.
It is these really...
Definitely going to get one.
I want one so bad, and it's something that you guys might want to consider buying for your own photos. Let me find it. But Lens Ball is a crystal ball that you can buy to take photos with, and it reflects the image. So for example, I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Probably not.
Let me see if it'll see there. See, it is a glass ball that you can buy. And this person obviously is taking a picture of a tree, but they can, if you scroll through the profile, you can see all these lifestyle photos of how people are using their product.
You just manipulate images using the ball.
Right.
So they're really cool.
But the profile itself is a really great example of a fantastic way to market a product, because there's not a single photo on their feed that has text on it, nothing about advertising or a sale or anything like that.
Just a picture.
Just pictures. And it is a really, really great, kind of business to follow if you need ideas. Plus, I'm going to get one of those lens balls because they're
really cool. We can do some cool stuff.
With our keys. That would look so
Jacqueline
neat.
said, I've noticed better engagement on Instagram when I take pics with multiple products as opposed to just one. That's because when people are interested in you, they have to stop and look and see what everything is that's in the picture.
I'm the same way.
You don't want to overcrowd it with too much stuff, but that's good for like when she does teasers for her launches and stuff like that. She'll have like one of 3 different kinds of keys or whatever. Yeah.
So for Instagram, the best performing photos for me by far are when I take like 5 to 10 keys and line them up. Sometimes I can even fit them all on my hand. So I put them down my wrist and I'll take a photo of me holding them.
Because people got to stop and look at all of them.
Right. And
see what they are.
I hold them up and I make sure that the background's kind of blurred. Like I go out in the front yard and the grass will be blurred in the background, but the keys will all be in focus. Those photos get hundreds of likes. People love seeing all the variety. So if you're able to stage those photos and like show the variety, or you holding a bunch of your products if they're small, that works really great. I think that people like to kind of envision themselves like they're holding it. It's more magical.
No,
it's a lot.
It works. That's all we know. I mean, obviously, don't make every picture like that.
Right.
Oh, crap.
And then
that snuck up on me.
You need a drink?
Yeah, please.
And then another thing that I see a lot of business owners make like big fat mistakes with their hashtags on Instagram, because this is one of the platforms where you want to be using hashtags. I see a lot of business owners, they use hashtags that shoppers aren't using. They're using hashtags that other sellers would be using. So like they hashtag Etsy shop, hashtag Etsy, hashtag work at home mom, hashtag, you know, and these are great for us as makers. However, they're not good for your target market. Your target market, the people who are buying products, aren't searching hashtag Etsy seller. They're searching for hashtags that pertain to their niche. So what I recommend doing is find like a public figure in your niche. For example, if you make children's toys, find like a big mommy blogger on Instagram who's constantly sharing things like that. If you make Gothic jewelry, find like a really big Gothic influencer or someone from a band who's really big. And then look at the hashtags that they're using. Check how many hashtags they have that like apply to your business. Save those somewhere. I keep all my hashtags in a text document on my phone, and then just copy and paste those into your hashtags. Now, one thing I will say,
hashtag book is banned. Yeah, because it was drowning out their server.
Well,
what was the one that was really funny that you used to use that was just dudes? No, it was just dude bits. What was that?
Tattoos and tattoo girl and tattoo boy.
No, there was one very specific that was really bad, and I can't remember what it was. You had to stop using it.
Yeah, it was really bad. Because you went
to it and it was just dudes posting naked pics.
I can't remember. It was like, I can't remember what it was. It was something with, I know it was one of my tattoo hashtags, but I can't remember.
There was one for your art by Starla Moore, and it was,
I can't remember. But anyway.
Just be careful. Check out all your hashtags, because sometimes you just get a bunch of dude parts.
But anyway, so
what are we talking about? I have no idea.
Anyway, another
Instagram
big mistake. So make sure that you're using hashtags that pertain to your target market.
Hashtag eggplant, yeah.
Find an influencer in your community. Find like a big public figure that has like 100,000 subscribers or more, and then make sure to look at the hashtags that they're using. But when you post your hashtags, don't, like, say you're making an Instagram post and you got the photo and you're making the caption. Don't post all those hashtags in that caption. Post the photo. For example, when I post photos on Instagram, I only hashtag art by Starla Moore, and then comment on your own photo and add all those other hashtags. If you have 20 more that you want to add, do that in the comments. That way it's not clogging up your overall post.
Yes.
So that makes things a lot easier, and it works the same.
Avocado might be next. Hashtag B1.
I've heard that too. There are a lot of banned hashtags because
everybody's so obsessed with avocado.
I love it.
I love avocado, but like the restaurant whose sole purpose is just avocado toast, like, get out of here with that.
So
God.
Instagram, you want to be sharing at least once a day. I don't do that right now. I'm really bad about it because I'm currently working on the academy. I used to be super duper active on Instagram, but I haven't been active on anything. As soon as I, get this monster done, I'll have a lot more time for that. I'm like, do as I say, not as I do, because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I'm very busy. But you should be uploading around, like once a day, if at all possible. That's usually the best. And if you don't have the ability to do this once a day, I don't personally use it, so I'm just throwing that out there. I don't use it, but what I hear is that Hootsuite is the very best way to schedule your post for Instagram. That seems to be the number one way to schedule. So that's Hootsuite. And I've heard really great things about using Hootsuite to schedule on social media. I don't use it. If it turns out to be terrible, like, please don't blame me for it. But I prefer to kind of post things on my own. I take all the photos ahead of time, and then I'll just post them, when I'm not doing anything else. And it kind of helps a lot. Let's see. Hootsuite is great for Facebook and Instagram. Okay, great. That's good. So we know that people are already using it. I've heard that if you do it with the comments, if you don't comment within 2 minutes of posting, none of the hashtags work. I'm not quite sure. I doubt it. I would have to test that personally. I mean, if anybody has any feedback on that.
Also, Catherine said, I thought the algorithm changed and hashtags in the comments don't get picked up anymore. I find that hard to believe. I'd have to look into it, but
I just did it like a couple days ago and it worked fine. So I could look into it, but I just did it not that long ago and it worked fine. If that's something new, I apologize and I will check it, but I did it not that long ago and it showed up for me. So you should reply to comments ASAP, first hour. Absolutely.
That's kind of like pretty much anything on social media. You got to start like as soon as you get the post up, get all the other crap that you have to do with it should be done right away.
Right.
Don't hold it off.
So when people are commenting on your content, make sure that you are responding, make sure that you're giving, their comment a little heart. Now, one thing about Instagram is, as opposed to Facebook where people hold long conversations, on Instagram, people really, they're a little bit different. They don't tend to sit and want to like chitty chat for an hour with you.
If they do, they'll DM you.
Right. Most people don't sit and chitty chat for a long time. So you don't have to hold big, long conversations. You just want them to know that you're active, that you're listening. If they have a question or a suggestion, that you will actually respond to them. Jacqueline Hirsch, because of reply so quick, I would not use a scheduler. And yeah, that's absolutely true. That's one thing that you would need to consider, is because you won't be able to sit and reply. And YouTube is the same way. Mm-hmm. On YouTube, you have to reply very quickly to new comments. Like first hour is ideal. So when you're actually using a scheduler and say you're asleep when one of your posts go up and none of those comments get replied to until 12 hours later, when you have the time to do it, it's going to influence things a little bit. Jacqueline, without putting the @ sign, actually, no, you can put the @ sign. Jacqueline, put your Instagram down in the comments. I want you guys to go follow Jacqueline at The Wicked Griffin, because in terms of marketing Instagrams, she by far has one of the most cohesive marketing Instagrams that I've ever seen. So she is a really great example of what a perfect Instagram account should look like. And that's another thing that makes her Instagram so great, is that everything is so cohesive. So when you're posting on Instagram, you want to make sure that everything goes together to paint this really beautiful picture when someone visits your bio and scrolls through. Every photo on that page should go together really, really well and look really great together. It should be one big canvas. And a lot of people, when you're just kind of posting this and that and nothing really goes together, it's kind of like a puzzle with pieces that don't match. So that's something to consider. Everybody's like, I love The Wicked Griffin. So another big thing that is a little bit newer, obviously you need to fill out your bio. You want to make sure that your links, your most important links, are in your bio, whether that be your email list or your shop link. But now you can also tag profiles and hashtags right in your bio. So if you have a hashtag specifically for your business, for example, mine is hashtag Art by Starla Moore, you can put that right in your bio to encourage people to click it and use it. So that is also a really good tip that was just, I think it's only been a few weeks that we've been able to do that. So, and then let's see, I think that's all I have. Oh, one little bonus tip. I really like to put just a couple emojis in my bio. Otherwise your bio it just looks like a lot of text and people don't really want to read it. I don't recommend clogging your bio up with too much, but when you put little emojis in there, it kind of makes it more appealing to read. In fact, I incorporate emojis into pretty much everything that I do because they're colorful, they pop, and psychologically we're more drawn to those emojis than just that plain text. So that's just somewhere
in between textbook and 12-year-old DM message.
Yeah.
Since the 12-year-old DM messages are usually just nothing but freaking emojis.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the middle.
Right. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about Twitter for a minute, which is another one. Twitter is not one of my primary platforms. I know.
I'm not a fan of Twitter either.
I've never been real big on Twitter. I do have a relatively active account. My account is linked to my Etsy. So every time a listing renews, it sends out a tweet, and I don't remember how I did it. And I would tell you guys if I could remember, but I don't remember. Renee Christine taught it to me. I have no idea how to do it anymore. But anyway, with Twitter is basically a tiny blog. Like, it's a micro blog. You're making tiny little blog posts. And the thing is with Twitter, it's one of the few platforms where things still move in real time. So where Facebook kind of prioritizes the timeline,
popularity.
Right. Twitter just kind of goes. It just
Here's
goes.
Your stuff in order. That's one thing I like about Instagram is it's kind of, wasn't it if this then that? Probably not, because I don't think she uses if this then that.
No, I don't.
LTTT. That's what I use to get the lights and stuff to work.
I don't think so. I know that Renee Christine told me about it, but I cannot remember because it was like right when I joined her, like 3 years ago. So it's been a while. I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure
you're so sour.
I know they're really sour. But anyway, when you are posting on Twitter, you have to be active and you have to be posting. Now, this is going to sound pretty outrageous. The standard, like the best performing brands on Twitter are posting at least 10 times a day. But you don't have to just be posting. You can be, you can tweet other people. So, those count too. So you can say at, whatever, and that still counts for those 10, but it shows that you're active and that you're engaging. And then another big mistake that I see people make on Twitter that I personally make because I don't really prioritize Twitter. It's not one of my
friends said Twitter's stupid.
It's not one of my main platforms, but for those big performing brands, the ones that use it, the ones that succeed on it, they're not just posting advertisements. They're not just selling their products there. They're posting relevant content that's going to benefit their audience. So they're posting.
And they're using it for engagement too, just engaging with fans.
Right. They're posting blog links. They're posting little status updates kind of about, what they're up to, what their brand is up to, what they're accomplishing that day, what's new with them. They're staying active in their community that they're building, and they're responding to their fans and actively engaging with them.
And I agree with you, Fran, but at the same time, people still use it, so it's still a good business asset. Like when I say I don't like Instagram, I still don't like Instagram. I honestly hate Instagram, but for a business tool, it works because other people are still using it, even if we don't like it. That's like people don't like Walmart because it shuts down local businesses, but everybody still goes there, right? So you still kind of have to utilize what everybody else is doing.
We
just
have
an outlet for those who need to feed their egos and addiction to drama. That's what life is now.
Here's the thing.
That's why there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these other social media platforms. It's literally just to talk about yourself. And that's all they're for, but it doesn't matter because they work for business.
It really depends on the type of people you follow. So if you're only judging face or Twitter based on celebrities and Donald Trump, then you have to
I don't think we've ever solved that mystery.
I don't think he ever told us what Kafifi is, but anyway, I think that you just have to follow the right people because there's dramatic people on every platform. It's not just Twitter. Mm-hmm. That's every single platform. There are those people out there, but there's also good people, the right people, your target market. They're probably there too. So
I like Twitter because they're mostly good at like the verified thing. Like when you get big, other than Trump, because there's 2 official Donald Trump pages that have both been verified, and I think they did that on purpose. But other than that, Twitter is one of the only, like, you get on Facebook and you see posts from like 100 different Donald Trumps. You see like,
well, a lot of those are edited. You're right.
Excuse me.
Why don't you go get a bottle
Goodness.
of water? So I also read that a really great scheduler for Twitter, once again, it's the same with Instagram. You're not going to be able to respond to people as quickly, but you can use buffer.com, I heard is really great for Twitter. And then another big thing for Twitter and Instagram alike are hashtags, obviously. And it's the same rules apply. Make sure that you're using hashtags that are relevant to your niche and not so much at being a seller. You want to actually use either the hashtags that you're building yourself or popular hashtags that fit in with the type of person that is most likely to follow you. So more for bloggers, I think 10 times a day. How would anyone get their work done? That's where scheduling those posts come in. And consider that replying to people is considered a post. So if you can reply to someone on Facebook 10 times a day, if you can, post 10 comments on Facebook, it really, kind of shows how easy this could be if it was one of your primary platforms. I'm not telling you that you need to be using all of these platforms. You should be picking 2 to 3 that are your primary ones. And then you should if you want to create accounts on the other ones, that's fine, but don't drain too much energy into just social media because you cannot master all of these. For example, I don't use Twitter for my business. I have an account. It tweets. I reshare my Instagram posts on there through Instagram's little, when you make a post, you can share to Twitter and Tumblr automatically. But I don't actually go to Twitter and make a post unless I'm releasing a collection because it's not one of my primary platforms. It's not where the majority of my target market are hanging out. However, there are some businesses who get, 90% of their customers from Twitter. So it just depends on your target market. And you have to be able to kind of do that research and decide if it is best for you. We won't be covering Vero today because there's not enough known about it yet.
No.
Vero right
like
now,
the algorithms and stuff like that, they're still kind of a mystery. It's unknown whether or not it's actually going to get super popular.
What is the IG shop mentioned first? It is
They said Lensball.
Lensball, yes, Lensball. Okay, so love the scheduler on Facebook and Twitter. Just need to remember to use Twitter more. Yeah, it's one that's harder to remember. I think it's easier when you have it like on your phone.
And
but
Heather said that she utilizes Facebook's scheduling feature. We use that sometimes. Usually, if we're going to be like gone all day and we have an important collection coming out or something like that,
yeah,
we'll use the Facebook scheduler too because we like to post every couple hours when we're doing the releases.
Right.
So
So
I've set up if this then that to repost my stuff from Instagram on Twitter. Yeah.
well, yeah, and that's an automatic Instagram feature too. You can repost to a couple different social medias, including Tumblr and Twitter.
Yeah, you just check the Facebook.
Yeah,
whatever,
and Facebook.
Then it'll just post over to it.
So another big thing about Twitter that a lot of people don't really think about, because when you think of tweets, you think of these like little micro blog posts. However, because Twitter is mostly those little micro blog posts, like photos and videos really, really pop out on a news feed. In fact, when you only see a bunch of tweets and then you see that photo, you usually focus in on that photo for a little bit longer. So photos are really, really big on Twitter. They're just, you don't see them as frequently. And I think that that's why they do so well. In fact, almost all of my tweets contain a photo, and those are the ones that get retweeted, that people share, that people like. So that might be something to consider if you decide to use it. Have you
ever used Planoly?
No.
Never even heard of it.
Nope. Do you recommend signing up and reserving your business name on platforms you aren't currently using? Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, but the thing is like, if you're on a social media platform and like you're picking your business name or whatnot, and somebody's already got your name reserved on all those platforms, you might want to rethink your business name in general.
I think she means so no one steals it later.
Like yeah, but I mean, like, I don't. Most names are so unique that
someone might do it to be mean.
Well, then you just contact Facebook and say that they're stealing your intellectual property, especially if you already have like a copyright on your name.
I don't know. I'm kind of in the boat of doing it.
I mean, it doesn't hurt.
It's just like claiming a domain name. You don't want anyone else to get it. So, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I do. Right when I found out that Vero was there, I immediately signed up for Vero. So I just don't have a lot to say about it because we don't know enough about it, other than it is very much like a combination of Tumblr and Instagram combined. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
No, we're not. You just said we're not talking about it.
Tumblr.
Oh, Tumblr.
So, and then the last tip that I have for Twitter, this is one that not many people really think about, but when you're creating content that you want people to retweet, most people try to shove as many characters into that tweet as possible because we only get, how many is it? 130? Is it 130 characters for Instagram? Somebody type down in the comments. I'm
pretty sure it's
Twitter. I think it's 130. But when people reshare, usually they want to throw in a few of their own words. They want to say like why they shared it, where they shared it. They want to add their own input. So when you're creating tweets that you really want people to share, rather than using all of those characters, 280.
280. They doubled it a couple years ago. I remember that.
140. Or it was 140. Okay. What you want to do is try to leave some room for people to be able to put in their own, their own little sentence when they retweet it, because they're going to want to say something about it. So I think that maybe like just leaving I don't know, maybe like 80 characters, just so they have enough room to say something. If you've got 280, you should be able to leave just a tiny amount of room. That way they can put their own information or why they shared it, or they have a way to tag someone else in it or use their own hashtags for it. And that's just one of those things to consider if you're creating content that you're really wanting people to share, or if you notice that people are sharing your content frequently. So like when I post really pretty elaborate staged photos of my keys, people like to reshare those just because they're pretty. They like those photos because the photos look nice. So they're very likely to reshare those. I try to not clog up all of those characters with my own gibberish where they don't have any room. Otherwise, my message is going to get cut off, or they're not going to be able to say anything for themselves. So I've been able to claim my on all my social medias, but I didn't have to get Twitter first because it's more difficult to get. I did have to get Twitter first because it's more difficult to get.
Blind woman.
I am blind. That's not even up to
sorry guys,
question.
my allergies are terrible.
Yeah, it's been really bad because the weather's been like hot and then cold and hot and then cold. So
it's going to be 70 degrees today, but it's going to snow tomorrow.
It's almost true.
That happened last week.
It did.
It was like 68 degrees outside, and then it snowed at like midnight.
Elo is another.
MeWe?
Elo. I've heard of Elo. I've never heard of MeWe. Here's the thing. There are like established giants in social media, and each is known for a different thing. Every social media giant has its own thing. So unless someone creates a new thing
that's going to explode.
Right. That's why Vero did really well at first.
But they're not doing anything new.
Right. They're not really doing anything new.
Sounds like Indiana weather. It basically is. We're like right next to each other.
Yeah, we're right beside you. So, people are known for certain things. Every social media platform is known for its own unique thing. And unless you're creating a new thing, it's really hard to steal someone else's thing and create something new from it. That's why Instagram stories aren't nearly as popular as Snapchat stories, for example. So, sweetage. All right. So let's talk about Pinterest. Now, one thing I will say is if you want like the best Pinterest advice ever, like the best Pinterest course, I'm like not getting money to tell you this. I'm not being paid to tell you this, but Renee Christine has a course for Pinterest called Pinterest Academy, and it is not open right now. But if you're on her email list and you follow her, you'll get information when that opens. So that might be something that you want to consider if you want Pinterest to be like your number one top platform. It's the one that you focus on the most. That would be a really good course for you to take. But Pinterest, obviously, if you use it, you know that it is a photo pin board for people to share things that are either important to them or visually pleasing to them. So basically, Pinterest is used for building dreams. For example, people use it to plan their wedding. They use it to plan outfits. They use it to plan their makeup. They use it to plan events like birthday parties. They use it to plan recipes and home decor. And there's a lot of power to that, because if you create a product that fits in with any of that, then you can probably be very successful on Pinterest, because Pinterest is used for building like dreams. I mean, there are some people, I use this example a lot. There are some women who create their wedding board on Pinterest before they even have, someone lined up to marry. And Pinterest, 92% of pins are created by women. So obviously, if women are your target market, Pinterest is a great place to be. Pinterest brings in more traffic than Etsy. Yes, Pinterest is a huge traffic source for business, and it is definitely a photo rich platform, but you have to be very deliberate with those photos. Again, you can't just post that random kind of blurry photo that you took with your phone. The good thing about Pinterest is you can do very edited photos, because pinners really don't discriminate so much when it comes to the types of content. They can be highly edited, or they could be lifestyle photos. In fact, I like to have a decent combination of both. I like to create kind of fantasy type photos, which if you have taken my Create Jaw-Dropping Marketing Photos training.
Do they pin their ideal man? No, I've never seen myself on anybody's board.
Just mine, sweetie. Yes, I actually think that I've come across some boards like that it's like hot guys, and it's all just like a bunch of actors and stuff like on their board. I don't know.
Yeah, everything is going down in Hollywood right now. I don't think you want to be with anybody in Hollywood.
I don't know. But anyway, so once again, it's a photo rich area, but the types of photos that do best on Pinterest are a little bit different, because photos on Pinterest, the ones that are longer, which they can be, they can be really long. I can't remember what the exact dimensions are, where the cutoff is, but ideally you want them to be 600 wide, and then you can make them. Does anybody know like what the ideal length is? I can't remember offhand, because there is a limit where it will get kind of cut off and someone would have to click on it to see the full thing. But those long photos tend to do well. They don't, you have to think that the time that someone is scrolling through Pinterest, that long photo is going to be in their line of sight for longer. They're seeing it for longer because it is a longer photo, and they're not just zipping past it. So a great place to go to create those staged photos. I use iPicky for mine because I can cut photos to that dimension. However, you can also use Canva for this. I know that Canva has a Pinterest specific like little category where you can create long photos specifically for Pinterest. What's Joe's comment?
When picking social media platform, do you choose which you can get comfortable quickest, or buy the category item goes best with my shop custom decals?
I don't think that you should choose the platform that you're comfortable quickest with. I think that
pick the platform that your customers are hanging out on.
Right. Do your target market research, look at the age demographic and, the gender of the type of person, and just kind of look at those demographics on social media and on Pinterest and on, Instagram. For example, Instagram has a younger demographic. Pinterest is pretty equal. It's a decent ground. Facebook, pretty much everyone has a Facebook account. Snapchat is ages 18 to like mid 20s, I believe. So you just kind of have to look at the type of person and try to decide which one is going to be best for them, not so much what you're most comfortable with, and then focus on learning it and then move on to another one. So, and then you should try to at least keep it down to 3 that you're posting on frequently. Otherwise, you're just going to burn yourself out, and you're going to spend more time advertising than you are on actual like customer service and things like that. So let's see. Pinterest graphic size on Canva is 735 by
1102.
Cool. Okay, awesome. So Lexi posted that if you guys want to write that down. So
excuse me.
With Pinterest, those photos do have to be staged. You don't want to just post those, kind of blurry cell phone photos. You want them to be pretty. You want them to be elaborate. You want them to be well thought out and deliberate. And you want them to follow a cohesive theme that goes along with your niche. So for example, on my Pinterest profile, I only post like fantasy themed photos, and I post a lot of like spirit animals and crystals and, just nature photos, really beautiful landscapes. I post a lot of things like that because that's what my target market is into, dragons and animals and things like that. So you have to think about your target market and the things that are going to appeal to them. And then don't just create product boards, but create boards that create that cohesive theme. You don't just want to pin your own products. You want to pin things that are going to be beneficial to the people who are following you. They're not just following you to see products. They want in on the lifestyle that you're creating, because it's a place to build dreams and a lifestyle. So you have to create that lifestyle on your own account by creating a combination of those different types of products. Let me see. That's why I don't understand Snapchat. I'm in my 50s. Snapchat's hard to nail down, and I am 26. I struggled. I started my Snapchat when I was...
We're not in with the cool kids.
I started my Snapchat when I was 24, and it took me forever to figure it out. So, yes, Canva has the exact dimensions, social media templates. It's fabulous. Yes, Canva is really, really great because it does all the hard work for you. So another really cool thing about Pinterest is that when you make a pin, unless you delete it or for some reason Pinterest removes it, which doesn't happen very frequently unless you break the rules, that pin is evergreen, which means that when you have a product that's always in stock, that photo lasts there forever. I mean, people reshare it forever. It's just infinite. It's evergreen. And for example, I have some pins that I see going around of keys that I made back when I first started my business 6 years ago. And
we still have people come to Etsy specifically to message us and ask if we still have products that we had made when her business like first started.
Right.
Like,
and typical conversion for Pinterest, the most activity and the most buys happen 3 months after you create that pin.
They have to have time to circulate.
Right. It has to have time to gain some viral strength. So 3 months is what's typical. So it's really good to pin products that you know you're going to always have available. And you want to make sure that those photos are pinnable so that people are going to want to share them and, you know, have those on their profile. Do we have any questions? Oh no, I guess we don't.
No.
Okay, great. So another big thing about Pinterest, and this is not something that I personally use, and I don't know as much about it. Renee Christine is kind of the guru on it, but you can use rich pins on Pinterest, which will kind of provide a little bit of additional information. It kind of helps to boost your pins. You can provide things like the price of the product, the quantity of the product. And the coolest thing about using rich pins, in my opinion, is that when you use a rich pin and you change the price of a product, unless this has changed, someone correct me because I'm getting my content back from when Renee Christine kind of covered this stuff. But when you use a rich pin, what I believe still happens is that when you have the price of that product and you go and you like reduce that price, say that you're holding a sale or something like that, anyone who has repinned that pin will get an email saying that a product that they had pinned, that the price has dropped for that pin. So they actually get a notification, just making sure that that's still a thing. If you pin your Etsy listings, do your tags stay with the pin? I don't think so, Megan. I'm not going to say that
they do.
I'm not going to say that for sure, but I do not think so, simply because what you're seeing, what the algorithm should be reading, they shouldn't be reading the things that are backlinked to Etsy. They should be reading the content that is directly on that pin. So the hashtags and the keywords that you're using on that pin itself. But I might be wrong. I'm not going to say that for certain because Pinterest is not one of my primary platforms. Renee Christine is the queen of that. That's why I don't really cover it all that much.
That's what Threaded Needles, because they said, how do you optimize pins for search? That's more Renee Christine's thing. That's not
right. But you should be
hotspot.
You should be using keywords in your pins. You should be using. I use hashtags in my pins. And you should you should be using your keywords no matter what social media platform you're using, though. It doesn't matter what it is. You should always have your primary keyword and what you want to be known for in mind. And you should be using that everywhere, because not only is that going to build, SEO strength, it's going to build brand strength, because even your followers by that point are going to know what you're known for. And if you ask anyone who knows me what I'm known for, they're going to say skeleton keys, because that's what I put everywhere. I put that literally everywhere that I can. So my most repinned pin has never had a sale. Now that does happen because sometimes people repin your products under like DIY boards, which is very annoying, or they repin your products and then they just never buy because they think the picture looks pretty, but they don't really want to go buy the product. So Pinterest is really effective for some businesses. Some businesses say that they don't see, much traffic from it. Some people say that they see 90% of their traffic from it. I get decent traffic from it, but not great. And I think that it all just really plays into your ability to create a very cohesive profile that makes sense to people who matter, your target market. You have to have a reason for them to follow you. For me personally, when I'm on Pinterest, I actually don't follow profiles. I just kind of pop around, see a cool picture, and I pin it when it comes to like my personal use, not my business use. So and if you want to create boards for things, if you want like your because you can create a business profile and a personal profile. But if you want to keep everything all in one place, you can absolutely create secret boards where you keep the things that are just for you. For example, all of my recipes and things like that that I want for me that I don't necessarily want to show to my fans, I just create secret boards, and then I have access to those, but no one else does. So, I mean, that's totally an option. You have to keep the posts that you're posting to your fans very deliberate, focused around the niche, focused around the image and the lifestyle that you're trying to create. And if you see something and you say, well, this doesn't really match what I'm trying to promote. For example, if I found a chocolate chip cookie recipe that I really wanted to save, it wouldn't fit my niche. So I would save that to one of my private boards. That way I wouldn't be sharing that to my fans.
Joe asked if he has a question about one of your other videos, not about social media. I mean, if you want to send us a question, shoot it to the alpha email.
Right. Or just ask us at the end. How often should we pin? That actually, there are a lot of different opinions on it. I would say pretty much every social media platform that you use, you should be at least doing it once a day. For pins, it's usually not best to sit and pin all of your pins at once. You shouldn't just sit and like pin this, pin this, pin this, pin this. What I would do is try to spread those out. But I mean, I would say just a couple times a day if you have the time to. All social media platforms are pretty reliant on daily usage because they want to, you want to be active. You want to show your followers that you're active in that community, so they're constantly seeing you. But the opinions on Pinterest actually vary so much that it's hard to say. I can tell you that personally, when I go on a pinning streak, I will pin, 10 to 20 photos a day. But on other days, I don't pin anything, keeping in mind that Pinterest is not my primary platform. But if you are using it as a primary platform, you should expect to be using it every day and trying to at least create a couple pins or resharing pins a few times a day, which there's a difference between creating pins and resharing pins. When you're creating pins, you're the one posting the photos, you're creating the backlink to that photo, redirecting people to your Etsy shop. But you should also be creating content by resharing other people's pins, because not only that, but people, if you reshare their pins, they're very likely to follow you.
What are the best times to pin?
That's another one that completely changes. There are some people who say that there are different days. There are some people who say that there are certain times, but it's going to depend on your time zone because not everybody lives in the same area of the world as you. Most people say around noon is best for Pinterest. But what I would do is do a quick Google search, and there are huge infographics that talk about different parts of the world, different times for Pinterest, types of content. There are certain months that are better, certain, times of year that are better. So I would just maybe look at some infographics and decide what's going to be best for you. I mean, the best thing that you can do is test and watch and see what is performing best on your end. So like I said, you want to make sure that those pins are deliberate, well thought out. You're creating a lifestyle and an atmosphere for your page as a whole. And you don't just want to create product boards, but you also want to create boards that promote that lifestyle by repinning things that fit into your niche. So what are the best times to, we already answered that. Okay. So that was Pinterest. I know that you guys are kind of dying to hear Snapchat, and I kind of have a funny story to go with Snapchat, but I'm going to get a bottle of water first because I'm dying. Don't mind my sweatpants. I'm still in my PJs. I need a bottle of water.
Me too.
You want a bottle of water?
Yeah.
You want cold or not cold?
Cold.
He doesn't like cold water as much.
Never have.
He's not like a big cold
I have sensitive teeth. It's
All
not
right.
not so bad now that we're using the Sensodyne though.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to have my water nice and cold.
I have always had really sensitive teeth.
Me too.
I probably won't drink much of this until it's like 10 degrees warmer. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Snapchat, because I know that that's one that confuses most people. And maybe because I'm a hip young kid,
What about F4F?
Follow for follow. When you're doing follow for follows, you have to consider that those people aren't your target market.
Nope.
So basically you're getting followers who aren't ever going to buy your product.
It's a useless follow.
It's better to have,
unless they're going to be sharing your stuff.
Yeah, it's better to have 100 engaged followers than 10,000 non-engaged followers. So when people are commenting on your stuff and saying follow for follow, it's not helping you at all.
Rachel said for her, Pinterest is one of the best places to go, but I really need to know how to better utilize it for business. Take Pinterest Academy.
Right.
That's exactly what that's for.
Right. Pinterest Academy is a great resource. And as knitting and crocheting, you want to make sure that when you're creating posts that you're making sure that you're establishing that you're not promoting DIY projects. I know that that's a big problem that a lot of people have is that people repost and they think that it's a DIY project or a pattern, when in reality, you're trying to sell a ready-made product, and DIY is huge on Pinterest. So it can be really hard for those of you who create products like that, because people are going to save you to boards that say things to make and DIYs and things I could sell. And that gets really annoying. But unfortunately, that's one of the things that you just kind of have to deal with. It comes with the territory on Pinterest. I even have people on my most elaborate keys post my keys to DIY projects. It used to make me really mad, but now it's not worth your time to get mad at. So just keep those things in mind, and make sure that you're posting in a way that really promotes that you sell this product. Okay. So, I always order no ice at places. Oh, I couldn't do that. I gotta have cold.
I do that when I get takeout. I'll say, I want a large Diet Coke, no ice, because I just put it on ice myself and I get way more Coke.
Yeah, that was I worked at McDonald's when I was a teenager, and that was like really, really big. People ordering their drinks without ice to make sure that they actually got more drink, because our standard was to fill the cup all the way with ice. But anyway, let's talk about Snapchat. And Snapchat, I love only because I created my business. It's not a business account. It's a normal account. But I don't even know if you can have a business account on Snapchat. I just created
no idea. I don't like Snapchat.
I just created a normal account. But with Snapchat, everyone thought I was crazy a few years ago when I created a Snapchat account for my business, because they all told me, like, Snapchat is just a place where people post pictures of nudes so that they go away in 24 hours, which people...
Not 24 hours, 10 seconds right after people watch it.
No, it's 24 hours. The snap stays up for...
If it's in your story, not if you send it to somebody.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about stories. I don't have any, like, conversations.
That's just... That is just for teenagers. Like,
right.
When you're talking about the nude stuff, that's just the place teenagers go because their parent, like, they don't have to have their parents that can see it and whatever. Yeah.
But with Snapchat, everyone thought that I was really weird for creating this account. Isn't it funny now how everyone's suddenly doing stories, how Instagram stories are now big and Facebook stories are coming. Yet here a couple years ago, I told everybody that Snapchat was doing great for my business, and everyone told me I was crazy. Here's why. When I have these raving followers, which you guys know how insane my Facebook following is.
Fans are nuts.
They love us, and I love that. That's the type of following that you want to have, those fanatical fans.
She loves, I don't like attention. She loves it.
I don't, it's attention for our brand. I love that we have such a great brand following. But I created a Snapchat, and I told them I will be doing exclusive work in progress photos in my Snapchat story for people who follow me in the days leading up to my collection launch. I got so many Snapchat followers doing that. And my fans, because they felt like they were involved in the process of these, this product creation, they felt very obligated to buy when those products became available. And this is before I had huge blowout pre-launches. This was several years ago when my products didn't always sell out the way that they do now, where I still had to kind of fight for those sales. And people, when they started following me on Snapchat, they would watch the way, they would get that inside look that I wasn't giving to anyone else. They felt very exclusive, and they felt like they were seeing something that I wasn't showing to the general public. Therefore, they felt very involved with that process. And not only that, but I could see how many people were actually watching that Snapchat story out of my fans. I could see which fans were watching. And then when those sales started rolling in, I could see which of those fans watched my Snapchat story, which Snapchat stories they watched. So I could see, which of the photos they personally saw in that story and videos. And then when I saw that they bought that product, I mean, you put those ends together and you realize that they followed the story of this particular product, and then they went off and bought it. So The great thing about Snapchat is your photos, it's like one of the few platforms where your photos don't have to be perfect. The point is that you're taking them in the moment. You're just snapping them. You're snapping them real quick. They don't have to be perfect. They can be, a little bit blurry. The lighting doesn't have to be perfect. You can just snap like as you go. What really counts is quantity and the story that you're trying to tell. Humans by nature were drawn to stories, and for as long as time we've had people who are storytellers who pass on stories. So we're naturally drawn to a good story. That's why Snapchat is so big, because you can follow somebody's daily life and see, the little exciting pieces of that, which is really huge for teenagers, because teenagers are usually the types of people, and even even people in their 20s, they want to watch the exciting lives of others because they're still in that process of developing their own dreams. So they like seeing what everybody's up to. With Snapchat, the main thing that you need to do is make sure that when you're creating the story about your day or your product line, you're making it entertaining and you're getting people involved. So, for example, if I was creating a key, I might do a picture of the key and say, "Ooh, look what I'm working on." And then on the next photo, I might put 2 stones next to it and say, I wonder which one I'll use. Like, I'll post something like I haven't decided, and I'll see if anybody sends me a message or messages me about my story and see what they say. And usually I already have a stone picked out, but then I'll go ahead and put the stone in it and say, "This is the one I picked." And people just really like to follow that because they feel like they're a part of that process. And I think that the most important thing there is just knowing that you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. It can just be instant. You can do it really quick. And Instagram stories are very similar. It's just Snapchat is still kind of the king of it. What I usually did was I took my Snapchat stories and immediately posted like the same photo over to my Instagram stories. And then another really cool thing about Snapchat, because story posts are only up for 24 hours, is that on Snapchat, you could kind of leverage this 24-hour thing by posting sales and discounts exclusive for your Snapchat following, but having like a coupon code pop up. And once it's out of your story, it's gone. So let the sale last for as long as it's in your story. That's going to put a lot of scarcity and urgency on that coupon code, where people are going to feel more impulse to go and use it. So that's another really great thing about Snapchat that I like. And you can do it on Instagram too, but I almost feel like Snapchat, it's almost more exclusive. I feel like Snapchat is a more closed platform, where Instagram, you can kind of just click around and see anything. Snapchat feels a lot more exclusive to those people. Another big thing is you want to make sure that your account is public on Snapchat. That way, anyone can follow you without having to request being a friend. You can do this in, what did I write down? In your permissions setting, which I didn't know that you could even do that, but apparently that's something that you can do. I just learned that. So you can make sure that your profile is public, because I know that the celebrity profiles are all public. I wasn't sure on how to do that myself until just recently. So, wait a second. Sorry. So another big thing about Snapchat, like I said earlier, what I would do is I would look at how many and which people were watching my full story. So if you post 10 photos in a day, most people will click through a few and then they'll skip it at the end. So you can see how many people are actually, looking at your story. You can see exactly who they are, how many people have viewed it, and then you can kind of see which types of your own content are performing better. That way you can start creating more snaps with that type of content. If you see that videos are performing better, or a certain type of photo is performing better, if you think, the work in progress photos are performing better, then you know what you should be creating more of. And then one big thing that I think that a lot of people get wrong about Snapchat is they think that it's going to be this really great marketing platform that's going to get them a bunch of sales. And the thing about Snapchat is it's not going to get you a bunch of sales. It's not like a converting platform. What it's more going to do is get your followers and your diehards and your just raving fans, the ones that just follow you through thick and thin, it's going to get them more involved with you in a more personal setting. So you're going to be able to communicate with them on a different level than you are on those big public profiles, because when they're flipping through your story, they're not seeing a bunch of comments from other people. There's nothing else. It's just you and them. And if you're creating a video where you're talking into the camera, they feel like you're talking directly to them, much like I'm talking directly to you right now. That's kind of the feeling that you get from that Snapchat story. So you're getting that glimpse into their life. It's a really great place to kind of do the work in progress photos, studio photos. If you've got if you're getting inspiration for a new collection and you're walking like in this beautiful field of flowers and you say, this is the inspiration for the next collection, things like that tend to do really well. Let's go ahead and make sure that we don't.
There weren't that many.
Oh, okay.
Somebody asked if you had any advice for Instagram stories. Yeah, we kind of already covered all that.
Instagram stories are going to be a lot like what we just said. It's going to be a lot like Snapchat stories, where those photos, they don't need to be perfect. In fact, I've noticed that photos on Instagram stories actually need to be a little bit better than Snapchat. Like Snapchat, you don't have to think as hard about it. No. You just need to snap. Instagram stories, people tend to not watch them because people have an expectation on Instagram that those photos are going to be staged well.
Excuse me.
So they already have that expectation. What I notice is that more people watch my stories on Snapchat than on Instagram, even though I have thousands of Instagram followers and I've only got a few hundred Snapchat followers, but people tend to watch my Snapchat stories more than my Instagram stories when I'm actively posting on Snapchat.
Linda said, "It's seen so many social media platforms trying to find time, plus run a shop and create. How does anybody find time? Cutting out all the little crap you do throughout the day.
Right, you're not going to use
the extra 10 minutes you spend on the toilet after pooping that you just scroll through Facebook. That's an extra 10 minutes you could be using to promote while you're pooping on the toilet.
I actually recommend that in our I recommend that all the time. I tell people, make sure that if time management is an issue, post to social media when you're taking a poop. What else are you doing that's so important at that time that most people are just sitting there looking around? Nobody knows you're pooping. Make a post, make an Instagram post, have some photos readily available.
Or just take one of those pictures on the toilet and be like, taking a break from work to poop.
Taking a poop. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that, please.
But yeah, seriously, most people spend way too much time after they go to the bathroom just sitting on the toilet scrolling through Facebook.
Post something.
That extra 5 minutes is 5 minutes that you've wasted in your day.
Right. So
just cut all the little stuff out.
And with platforms, pick three platforms, but learn them individually.
Not mention poop. It's your fault.
Learn each platform individually, master it, and then move on to the next one. Just don't go over by mistake.
We'll never look at your post the same. She posts when she poops.
Everyone posts.
Everybody posts when they poop. You should be.
You should be posting.
Everybody poops. Have you not read the book?
Yeah, there's a book. Our daughter has a book. Everyone poops. Everyone poops. And there's nothing wrong with poop. Just post when you poop, and then you'll always have time to post because you'll be pooping at least once a day, I hope. If not,
if you're not, please see a doctor.
Yes, or drink some what's that drink? That poop drink.
X-Lax?
Not X-Lax. I can't remember. Anyway.
Clean you out. I definitely need a new phone. Don't have the memory space for more than just a couple of platforms. Yeah. Definitely should upgrade.
Absolutely.
Or delete the ones that you can do on your computer and download the ones you can only do on mobile onto your phone. Do what you can for the time.
Yes, absolutely.
I find that IFTTT really helps me get to all the platforms even if I don't focus. Yeah, If This Then That is amazing. You can do a ton of stuff with that. I control the house lights. We have the freaking company that we have.
Philips Hue.
Yeah, we have all the Hue lights and stuff like that. So
my biggest beef with If This Then That for posting and translating your content to social media from platform to platform is that every social media platform is like its own unique animal, and every social media platform requires a different type of content. So when you're taking a post directly from Facebook and sharing it on, say, Instagram, that photo might not perform as well, and it might actually not fit cohesively with the photos that you typically post on Instagram. So you do have to be kind of deliberate with your posts and make sure that you're not sharing something on one platform that's not going to perform well you know, as it would on a different one. Like, for example, Snapchat, like I said, those photos can be a little bit blurry. They don't have to be perfect. But on Instagram, your photos have to be perfect and flawless. Otherwise, nobody's going to pay attention to you. Nobody wants to look at ugly pictures on Instagram, but people will look at ugly pictures on Snapchat because it was in the moment. Like, that's the purpose of it. So
I said, if this, then that, plus Alexa. I use Google Assistant on my phone.
Yeah.
And she calls me daddy, but it's fine. She's not jealous at all.
That's a good idea, Mark. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When he.
Is there a few for that?
A few? You mean a fee?
A fee? No, if this, then that's free.
Yeah. And we have Philips Hue bulbs. So he just talks to the phone and he can turn the lights any color. He can dim them. In fact, when he's on his way home,
the lights, so like I have it set for the lights that I haven't set it up on her phone yet. And I have it set for the lights to turn off when my phone disappears out of range.
And I have to text him and
so
tell
she'll
him.
know when I'm coming home because the lights will just magically turn on when I'm about a mile away.
It's so funny. And we had like Christmas settings. Like if we said Christmas lights, it would turn the lights like green and red. So
yeah. you can do all kinds of stuff like that. You can set it for like if you live in California and there's wildfires in your area, you can set it to like certain news programs. If they report a fire, all your lights will turn red, so you know to look out, that kind of stuff. Do you have a Nest too? No, but we want to get one. I want to the Nest thermostat and the cameras and
cameras definitely.
I want to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I really want to get the Nest cameras. So let's talk about Tumblr because this is one of my favorite platforms and nobody uses it, and I think that's why it's so powerful. It's why Snapchat's so powerful.
You guys are so cute. Why are we cute?
We're so cute. You know what? Before we talk about Tumblr, I did want to point out we got a couple comments, and so one person deleted the comment, but I saw it before she deleted it, and it said I was gonna watch, but Mark is here. Yeah. But here's the thing, guys. I know you guys are cool. It's always the comments after the video.
Yeah, there's always one or two.
And sometimes they're so nasty, not just a little nasty, because I can deal with YouTube hate. But sometimes those comments are so nasty. So for the haters out there, you just have to consider this is my husband. Like, though you guys don't like him, this is my husband. If my
words offend you, you are a weak person and you need to grow up.
I love this man more than I love anyone else aside from my daughter, of course. I love this man more than anything. And when you guys talk badly about him, it's almost like I broke down. I'll admit here, I'm going to be honest. When I read some of those comments, I broke down and started crying, and he had to make me stop crying because I was upset. And I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore because it hurt my feelings so bad. But then I thought about it and I'm like, we have more people that tell us, you know, I wait every Friday for this. I stick around and wait every Friday to watch you guys. And that is like our biggest motivator. So
yeah. And I mean, the thing is if I say something really personal that really does offend one of you guys, send an email directly.
Right. Like we're happy to clear up. If we didn't realize that we said something that really upset you, you know.
Right. Like life is too short to be offended by stupid things like words. Like if you're offended by words, you're the immature person.
We were told
they're fucking words.
We were told that we were the most vile, disgusting, terrible.
Like, are you kidding me?
For last week's stream, we were told we were the most vile, disgusting people this woman had ever heard. She feels bad for her pets, and she certainly hopes that we don't have children. You know what?
Naked cat, I wasn't going to, but boobs. There you go.
I'm
trying to be a little bit more PC because it's getting consistent, and obviously you guys are here to watch us, and you guys will probably always be here. But it's the new people that are coming on that we want to try to keep around. So I am going to try to be a little bit more PC, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop being fun.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to try to still stay.
Yeah.
Normal.
This woman told me that she certainly hopes I don't have children, and she feels bad for our pets, and we shouldn't be pet owners.
I don't even know what we did. He jumped up on my chest, and I love him and cuddle him and stuff. Like, why do you feel bad for my pets? Because I love them.
And that was last week.
Disgusting.
Last weekend's stream. And we didn't even say anything bad last weekend. We loved on the cat the cat that was in heat. All we did was try to cover her up so you guys didn't have to look at her butt like she was sticking her butt up in the air. But we're the most vile, disgusting people.
I don't know why people get offended. Because they're weak. They're weak-minded. They're afraid of words.
Words! We didn't even say any bad words. What did we say? Right. We said boobs.
There are people getting beheaded on the other side of the planet for their opinions, and I'm offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're words. Calm down.
And we wouldn't say words. We wouldn't say words that discriminate
Or
against a person. We don't discriminate against people. We don't, you know, that's not like what we're talking about, because
don't pay any mind to them. We have to, because those are new people that we're losing.
We don't, there's no group of people that we call out. It's always, you know, for example, making fun of trends and things that we don't like, you know, silly things like that we think are silly. I don't know. It's crazy. But guys,
I used to think your husband's a jerk, but after watching your vids, I realized it's just from personality, and I'm not fake. Exactly. I hate being fake. You guys don't even get to see the real me. Like, some of you guys would probably leave if you knew the real me, because I'm a really offensive
he's raunchy.
person. I'm raunchy, real bad. But even here, I give it like 10% into the channel.
But the thing is, what you guys also don't see is that he's a fantastic father. He will sit with our daughter, and you guys play barbecue party for like an hour while I was working this week.
Thank you for bringing a good name to drug dealers. What are you talking about?
What? Why we're not drug
Mark
dealers?
After Dark, new show idea. You don't want that.
No, probably not. But we are going to make a separate channel where we are going to be a lot weirder. But yeah. He's a great father. He keeps the house clean. He keeps my sanity together. And he is
I'm nice to her even when she's mean to me.
He just takes it.
Could you believe that she could be mean? She can be mean.
I can be mean. I'm not good under stress.
I had to leave her. If you missed it, he said that. Yes, I did. Once. You missed it. You're going to have to watch the whole thing over again to see it again.
Yep. You got to watch it all over again to watch the replay. And then you can hear the boobs again. Oh, I just said it. Oh, you didn't say it though. Oops. All right. So let's talk about Tumblr now that the little rant is over, because Tumblr is my favorite. I thought you guys
sell Etsy. We do, but we don't sell drugs.
Sell Etsy? Is Etsy lingo for drugs?
Thank you for bringing a good name to drug dealer. Yeah, we sell on Etsy, but we don't sell drugs. Do you sell drugs on Etsy?
Who sells drugs on Etsy?
Is that a new lucrative thing that I need to be aware of?
Is there some hip young lingo that we're not? Is Etsy like a cool?
Etsy short for ecstasy?
No,
Etsy's a website
for crafts.
I hope that you're not. I hope you're not here to what?
Oh no!
I hope you're an Etsy seller and you're just fucking with me or screwing with me.
Oh my God, no.
I hope you're not a drug dealer trying to get advice here right now.
Oh my God. This is the weirdest thing that I think has ever happened.
What's Etsy?
All right.
Oh, well, shut up.
Okay. Can we move on to Tumblr now?
Yes,
is that okay?
We can.
All right.
Good God, Ollie.
Okay. The great thing, good God, Ollie. The great thing about Tumblr.
You broke her. Thanks, man. Or lady, whatever you are.
Okay. I don't know if I could do this. Oh, man. Wonders into live stream.
That's where most of our random comments come from. Like, we've had people come in here and just start posting the most sexual stuff.
No.
I saw the missus with the hat, the colored hair, tattoos. Yeah. Straight up drug dealers. No, we're not fucking drug dealers.
We sell jewelry, and everyone here is in their mid-30s to 40s to 60s, actually.
I just assumed. You're funny.
No. That's why you should never assume. We're legitimate business coaches, and I'm so sorry that we're not bringing you any value for your drug advertising. However, hopefully,
I mean, I don't advocate illegal things, but if you live in a legal state, you could probably use this stuff.
Yeah, you could use it for marketing.
If you're like a growing business or
not ecstasy though. Not
ecstasy's not legal anywhere.
No.
No.
Okay. This has made my Friday. This is now we're definitely going to get hate in the comments. Everyone's going to be like, you vile people selling
I don't
drugs.
advocate doing illegal things, but I am an advocate for legalization. I am.
Well, yeah, when you look at a child who's having a convulsive seizure and
they just stop
of course.
The second they throw some CBD. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not going to never assume.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that because I don't want to offend people that are like, pot kills.
Pot kills everyone.
So, Tumblr? Yes,
Tumblr.
Cassandra, goddamn, we'll get to it.
Tumblr. The reason I like Tumblr is because not many people use it for businesses. And the ones that use it and use it well, for example, if you open up a new tab right now, type in Denny's Tumblr, scroll through Denny's Tumblr right now, like DENNYS, Denny's, like the breakfast restaurant. It's so funny. And you have to be funny or artsy or quirky or very niche to survive on Tumblr, which is great for markets like mine because I sell a very fantasy themed product. It's a good platform for me. So you really have to think if it's good for you. Tumblr is a blog. That's what it is. You create a blog, but you have sharing capabilities a lot like you do on other platforms like Facebook, where you can reshare or reblog things. And the greatest thing of all about Tumblr, if you have a website, now this doesn't work so much for Etsy, but if you have a website and you know about backlinks, if you know what that means, which I'm not going to get into what it means. If you don't, you'll have to kind of Google it. But basically, backlinks are going to give your SEO authority, like your actual domain authority, a little bit of boost. The more backlinks you have from reputable sites, the better. What's great about Tumblr is that every time someone reblogs something that you've posted, that is a new backlink. So you could post one thing, and every time someone shares it, it's almost like it's being shared on a different website. So that can generate thousands of backlinks to your website. It is so amazing. And that's one of those things that I actually just learned. But now that I know it, because I've used Tumblr for so long, it makes sense to me because I post on Tumblr, actually quite frequently. Pretty much every time I make an Instagram post, I translate that over to Tumblr. And sometimes I pop over to Tumblr by itself and upload pictures. But with Tumblr, it is a blog, so things have to be cohesive. You have to have a style to it. It has to look very pretty. It's almost like, do you remember MySpace where you could copy and paste like your profiles and
HTML codes?
Yeah, you do like your little background and do your HTML codes. It's a lot like that. So you
My favorite was hiding music in the background people couldn't turn off.
And then they're like looking around trying to click off of it. But with Tumblr, you can create, if you know any HTML, you can do so much with it. But if you don't know HTML, you can go and find like pre-made layouts, which is what I did, where you can just kind of reshare those or copy and paste those, and it will create a blog for you.
Are they trolling? No, we're not. What?
Oh, I think that she's talking about the other person.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Thanks for the Denny's reference. Or Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill Tumblr should go, yes, Stacy, that would be great for your brand. Stacy is the one who does the crazy milkshakes, like the monster milkshakes and stuff.
Okay.
She actually has a storefront, and she took HTU because she doesn't even have like a handmade product, like a craft. She actually has a storefront making milkshakes, and she used HTU for like branding. So that would be great, and definitely use the Denny's approach where you're doing things
I'd suggest
funny and
Ollie said, I'd suggest learning HTML on Dreamweaver. By you saying Dreamweaver, I assume you're using Mac, and I automatically disowned you for that. That's what I learned to build websites on, was Dreamweaver, and I'm pretty sure at the time that was Mac exclusive. So
we're not
out of here.
We're not a Mac family. However, most of our alphas use Mac.
I don't support Apple. I hate Apple.
Freak shakes, freak cakes, monster cookies, monster burger. Man, I want to come visit you, Stacy. Stacy has a great. Stacy, put your Instagram down below too. Put your Instagram profile down below so everyone can follow you, because she also has an Instagram profile that's super cohesive.
Where's she at?
Nowhere near us.
I don't mean anything. We're going to be traveling here soon.
That's true. Stacy, I can't remember exactly where you're from.
We're going to be traveling this summer, so as long as it's in the U.S., maybe we'll stop by. Apple products suck.
We're not a fan.
There you go.
But so if you guys checked out that Denny's blog, you guys probably saw how weird it is. And it almost has to be either weird or shareable or artsy or just very niche or funny. It's a really weird platform for kind of weird people, but it's more of an artsy community. And the thing about Tumblr is that it is very anonymous. Whereas on Facebook, you're using your name, you use your real name, and you add your friends and your family, and grandma is on there. But on Tumblr, everything is very anonymous. You make a screen name. So, it's going to be like boy band 52 and, things like that, where it's not your real name. But because of that, and I think this is where people get really confused about Tumblr, because they see some of the profiles that are out there. Tumblr allows pretty much everything. Anything goes. There is porn on Tumblr. There are drug blogs on Tumblr, hardcore drug blogs on Tumblr. There are anorexia support blogs where people actually support those, those habits and teach you how to be like better, and those support groups for people who want to be anorexic. Like, there are really weird blogs, but like, that's the negative. Every platform has a negative, and because anything goes on Tumblr, there are weird things.
Bad stuff happens on all platforms. The dude just got shot in the head on Facebook Live.
Right.
Like,
but Tumblr allows it. But
no, they don't. No.
Tumblr?
No.
Yeah, they do. It's completely allowed. You're allowed to do.
Tumblr does delete stuff all the time because remember, I think it was like 2 or 3. Ali said somebody say hardcore drugs. Yeah. 2 or 3 years ago, they came down on that revenge porn stuff, and they deleted like every Tumblr associated with it.
Oh yeah,
they're when it comes to really illegal stuff, the only reason they don't do drugs is because a lot of them are just pot and they don't know where they live, and they don't want to turn into one of those things where they delete somebody's profile for no reason and this, that, and the other. So,
but anyway, because it's anonymous, there's more weird activity like that going on, which is what most people hear about. When they hear about Tumblr, that's what they think about. Yeah. But it is
a good advertising platform too,
it's a tiny area of Tumblr. The majority of Tumblr is
gaming.
It's gaming and cosplay and art and memes and really fun, cohesive blogs. It's just, you have to find your niche on Tumblr, just like every other thing. So when you hear that there's all these weird things going on Tumblr, don't think that people are going to associate that with you, because even big brands like Denny's have Tumblr accounts. It's all about who you're following, how you use it.
Be a good advertisement for Tumblr, like on Facebook. Here's my Tumblr. I promise it's not porn.
Yeah, I don't have any comments.
Don't do that. That was a joke.
Can you share what your screen name is on Tumblr? Yes, it is Art by Starla Moore. My screen name.
That's it on everything.
It is. That's everything except for Twitter. Twitter, it's Fantasy Keys. So I have a website that's really just a landing page that I use to forward my Etsy site. Can I use the landing page with Tumblr or affiliate programs? Does that make sense? Yes, you can use it with Tumblr. I don't know about affiliate. Like, you would have to. That's kind of a really open term. You'd have to define that a little bit more. But yes, you can use that for your backlink as long as you own.
See you later, Ollie. Like, sub, I love you guys. Well, thank you.
Well, at least he was a nice drug dealer. He was a friendly.
I don't think he was really a drug dealer.
He was a friendly drug dealer if he was.
Your friendly neighborhood drug dealer.
Just your friendly neighborhood drug dealer.
He's kind of like Spider-Man, but instead of going around your neighborhood shooting webs, he goes around and throws bags of crack at your window.
Oh, no, please stop. Please stop. All right, guys. So the great thing about Tumblr is where on Facebook things might be shared. You could get like what's the most, post in the comments, genuinely post what's the most that one of your photos has been shared. For me, my most shared photos on Facebook are about like, I can usually get, if I'm really trying, I can usually get like 100 shares on like a giveaway post. But how many people have actually, like, what is your number, your average when you want someone to share something? How many do people actually like share it? What's like your share number? I just want to know, because for me, if it's really big, I want it to be 100. So proud of your growth. Shake the haters off. The bigger you are, the more they'll be. I know that. I'm so sensitive because I am.
She doesn't like people talking shit about me. It doesn't bother me, but it bothers her a lot more.
The thing is, when you know that somebody has sacrificed a lot for you, when I know that he's literally crippled because of me trying to support our family, it does hurt a lot when people talk badly about him, because though you guys think that, he's just a douchebag, I see how much he's worked for this family, and literally he is disabled because he worked
mentally and physically.
So, and I'm not telling you guys, I'm not trying to make excuses.
I'm not trying to make a pity story about it. It's just kind of shitty, like over words, like.
Right. But All right. So 3, 4 to 5, 4 to 6, 2. Well, not Pinterest. Pins, it's easy to get some good repins because it's quick. You can just repin. 3, I mean, more about Facebook. I would be very upset if people said bad things about my husband. Exactly. That's how I feel. So, and
yeah, God forbid anybody says anything bad about her. They really want to see me get inappropriate.
He blows up. But 2 in their family. Who else? Or who said it?
Thanks, Deborah.
Deborah, you'll have to watch the replay because we had some meanies.
You don't have to watch the replay. Just go in the fucking comment section. What are you talking about? Watch the replay.
But anyway, so you don't expect very many shares on Facebook. With Tumblr, a majority of blog posts are reshares from other blogs. So most people don't even upload their own content. They look for blogs that they like to follow, and they just reshare their content. So posts on Tumblr go viral. And when they go viral, especially if you have those backlinks to your website, every time something's shared, you get publicity. But even if you don't have your own website linked, even if you just link your Etsy shop, you're getting that put in front of thousands of more eyes because you're being re-uploaded onto somebody else's blog. Mm-hmm. So I can't ever get anyone to share or comment on Facebook. They keep liking stuff. That's one of the big things about Tumblr is it is a way more interactive community, and more people are willing to actually share that content. Now, as with most platforms, the same goes for Tumblr. Everything has to be cohesive. You have to be sharing cohesive content. If you can create enough content with your own products, with cool photos of your products, that's fine. But ideally, which that's what I do. I only share my own products. But if you don't have the time to do that, where you can just, create a ton of posts with your products, you might want to create or reshare content from other bloggers with their content and things that go along with your brand. For example, I might follow like a fantasy artist and reblog some of their like dragon paintings or something because it would go good on my blog. You have to think of it for what it is. It's a blog. You have to think of it like a blog. It's just easier than creating your own blog where you have to, like a WordPress blog where you have to write everything out. It's just like click and share. Let's see. Sharing is weird. I do want all my friends and family, or do I want all my friends and families to see that? Not really. I only love it myself.
No one on my profile will appreciate it, won't share.
That's, I mean, with your products, you should definitely share your products. But when it comes to like the personal content, I feel the same way. Sometimes I'll share a funny picture, but most of the time if I have a funny picture, I just send it straight to him. So sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit.
One thumbs down already. You know where to put it.
Oh no.
Okay.
So one big way to get like more followers on Tumblr, say that you decide that you want to start posting there today and you want to start like setting up a profile. From what I've heard, for some reason, when you create your Tumblr profile, you're supposed to create your profile. And for some reason, everyone says wait 24 hours before you begin editing and tweaking that profile. I don't know why. I actually checked multiple sources today to make sure that this was a thing, but everyone just said things get funky if you try to begin creating your profile before 24 hours. Do you think, is there any reason that
because same with like Facebook and Tumblr and all those things, when people bot, they'll go in, they'll create the profile, post a couple pictures real quick, and then just start the bot up.
Right. So maybe that's why.
Don't go too crazy with any social media platform. Like the first day or two, don't go too nuts. But then after that, you're usually okay, because the system might catch you and think that you're a bot, and they'll block your content, that kind of stuff.
Right. So
it doesn't happen often on most platforms, but there's always that risk.
So if you decide to create a Tumblr profile, give it 24 hours. Make sure that you get a good layout for your page. You can find them. You can just Google like Tumblr copy and paste layouts, things like that. Just like we used to do for MySpace back in the day. Find something cool, or I think, does anybody know if they have default like templates like from the profile now? I created mine a really long time ago, and I don't think that they had like default templates to design your profile. I think you had to do it all manually, but if you guys know, post it in the comments. But make sure that you design your profile And then to get fans and followers, what you want to do is find some people in your niche. So, you know, maybe I found like a fantasy artist who really posts a lot of like fantasy photos and they've got a large following. Sorry, I'm like...
Because you're drinking cold water, you should be drinking warm water.
Say I follow like a fantasy artist who has a lot of fans who I know would love my products. What I would then go do is click one of their photos that they've shared or reblogged. Look at how many people have reblogged that photo, which you can see right from the post, and it'll pull up all their names. And then go through and follow them. And the marketing guy that I learned this from a couple years ago said to try to follow like 200 people per day, which when you're just clicking, it only takes a few minutes. Try to follow 200 people per day who would fall into your niche. And then after you follow them, you know, start engaging with them a little bit. Do that until you have 5,000 followers total. And by then you should be able to start generating momentum if you have that 500 or 5,000 followers. So people will begin actually sharing your content and paying more attention to you because you'll have a decent following. And then once people start sharing your content, if you have great photos that are cohesive, that fit into a niche, and you're associating with people within that niche, you're more likely to actually have those people reshare those photos and you're able to gain even more followers, especially if you throw something in there like follow my profile for more blank, or you have a link to your Etsy shop. And another thing, you can use hashtags too. In fact, they have a specific area to enter hashtags. So you wouldn't like write it right in the photo description or, you know, the post description. You would actually have a category where you can add your own hashtags, which I really like. So do we have any?
No, and we got to hurry up. We don't have time for questions. We've got 20 minutes till we get outside and get Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to kind of rush through the rest of it because we got to go get our kid off the bus.
Actually, that was it. That's all I have. So if you guys have any questions, you have about 20 minutes to ask those.
We'll do 10. That way we can actually get out there.
Okay.
We got about 10 minutes.
10 minutes then, because we do have to get our kiddo off the bus. So let us know if you have any questions about social media, any of the platforms that we've covered today. Like I said, not all of these platforms are my primary platform. So what I know is kind of based on
we have questions.
Top marketing experts and things like that. But
do you see value in joining a lot of Facebook groups to promote your products, or is it a waste of time? It's totally personal preference. Just make sure that the groups that will allow you, just like our alpha group, we don't let people post stuff there.
Right.
Just make sure you're not breaking any rules, and
make sure that there are groups that pertain to your niche and not so much like those big Etsy seller groups, because people are there to promote products, not to buy products.
They're going to get drowned out.
Right. The only one that I do like is the it's called It's Better Handmade group, because there are a lot of shoppers in there that are just looking to buy handmade products. Yeah. So that would be a good one to join.
There's lots of groups like that. You just have to look for them.
Mm-hmm. So you can usually find a couple groups, but that's why I like building my own group instead, like the video that we covered last week. It's so much more beneficial to actually create a Facebook group specifically for the people who want to buy your products, because then you're not competing with anything. There's no one else posting their products. It's just you.
With that 5,000 followers, also apply to the engagement on Instagram. Definitely thinking about using Tumblr, but I'm trying to protect what I'm using right now.
I mean, it could. It's good to follow people on Instagram. However, one thing that I don't like is when I see that a profile followed like 5,000 people, but they only have like 100 followers. If I'm like looking at a profile and I see that they've only got a few followers, but they followed like a couple thousand people, I don't know. It's kind of a turnoff to me in a way. I think that what you should do is follow people. And then if you notice that there are people that you followed like later on that just, you followed them a long time ago, they haven't ever engaged with you, maybe they've unfollowed you or they didn't follow you back, maybe unfollow them. That way you don't just have you didn't just like follow a bunch of people that are never going to buy from you. I would try to get rid of people like that who didn't follow you back.
Okay, and Joe Kerner asked, where can I write my question to your video? Just email us at starla@handmadealphaacademy.com.
Well, just post it here real quick. We've got a few minutes and we don't have that many questions, Joe. Just post it real quick.
Unless it's like a really important question.
Yeah, if it's really long.
Chelsea said, is engagement comments just as important as on Pinterest as other platforms?
No, because people aren't necessarily chatting it up on Pinterest. It's not a social platform. It's a sharing platform. So you want to prioritize that engagement, like that talking back and forth type content on platforms like Facebook, where the platform is actually built around conversations.
Which is your least favorite platform to use?
My least favorite platform has to be Twitter. I do not like Twitter at all. I'm not a fan of it. A lot of businesses do great on it, but I don't generate enough daily content to validate me having that account where I can just constantly post to it. That's my least favorite one. My least favorite, I don't know. I would definitely say that that's my least favorite. And I guess I'm not like a huge user of Snapchat anymore, only because I don't have daily content to post. But the thing is, you don't get bumped down in relevancy. So like you take a couple of months off of Facebook posting and no one sees your post because you're not relevant anymore. And Facebook doesn't like promote you anymore. But on Snapchat, it's a little bit different. When you decide to pick back up, you're right back where you left off. So I haven't posted to Snapchat in months, but I could create a bunch of snaps right now and all of my fans would still see them. So
I came late. Any suggestions to getting unstuck with followers on Instagram? I'm stuck at 4170.
Maybe host a giveaway, Kelly. That's usually a good way to gain some followers.
Just getting people excited is really the only way.
Yep.
So I have to clean my following. Blech. Yeah, I hear you. Let's see here.
You don't have to. I mean, you absolutely don't have to. It's just kind of, I mean, it depends on who you want to have in your target market.
What's the best way to automate social media posts?
Automating, I mean, there are great sites like Hootsuite. We talked about that. What was the other one for Twitter? Buffer.com. Automating is kind of hard because you want to be responding to people. You don't just want to like put your social media on autopilot, because you need to be responding to people who are engaging. Otherwise, they're not going to have a brand connection to you or an incentive to engage. And like Jacqueline said, like with Instagram, and I know that YouTube is the same way, ideally you want to be commenting back to people within 1 hour of posting your content. So if I make an Instagram post, I want to be able to comment back to them. I mean, automating is great for the platforms that you don't want to prioritize. Use something like Hootsuite to schedule your posts ahead of time, but you want to make sure that on your primary platforms where a majority of your target market is hanging out, that you're actually there to comment back to them.
Okay, and then Joe's was, if a customer doesn't reply thanking you, do you still send all 4 swipe files? Yes. Because it's not about you, it's about them.
Right.
So you want to make sure that they're getting all those messages.
Right, because you're updating them. I mean, it's not just about the plugs that you're putting for your emails and stuff.
It's not just like checking off a box, okay, I did it. Like some people are legitimately like, we had somebody order something and like hours later they were like, hey, is my product in the mail yet? Like I sent you the message and you received, like, you know how long it can take, that kind of thing.
Right.
You're kind of covering your own ass before people start asking questions is essentially what you're doing. Let's see here. How should I promote an official business? Is it unprofessional to go on Tumblr? No,
nope, not at all.
You can try any of the advice that we give here for Etsy stuff, other than this Etsy specific things. You can apply that to a real business.
Right.
Tumblr's great. Like even like vape shops and stuff like that will post pictures, you know, customers sitting and trying out their new juice or whatever.
Right.
Like you can just apply it to yourself. You got to use a little bit of common sense.
Yeah. And I mean, not only that, but big businesses use Tumblr. Look at Denny's Tumblr. Denny's is my favorite.
Denny's is fucking hilarious.
They are hilarious. Their posts are so funny.
Denny's and Wendy's. Wendy's is another one.
Oh yeah,
Wendy's on Twitter.
Savage.
So same with Denny's.
Oh yeah, on Tumblr you mean?
Same with Denny's, and
they get on it. The main fast food places will get in fights with each other.
So funny. People will be like, "Why would I go to Wendy's?" Or "Why would I go to Wendy's? There's a McDonald's closer." It's be like, if you don't want to eat trash, like God, Wendy's, calm down. And it's like hilarious. The official Wendy's page. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is Facebook a must? It's my least favorite right now.
I think that it is.
If that's where your market's hanging out, then yeah, it doesn't really. It's another one of those things where it's not about you.
Right.
It's about your business and what's best for your business. So if that's where your peeps are,
you got to think
unfortunately, yes.
You got to think about your target market. And the thing is, like, pretty much everyone has a Facebook. Even both of our grandmas have Facebook accounts. Everyone has a Facebook. So you're more likely to reach those people if you're on Facebook. I recommend when you choose your 3 primary platforms, Facebook should be one of them. So then you just have to pick 2 more.
All right, we'll get a couple more real fast. Let's see here. What do I do to get more traffic through my Instagram? You got to do things that draw attention. Just like we said before, do giveaways, do anything you can to draw people in.
Right. And 4,000 followers is nothing to scoff at on Instagram. So if you're not getting sales, you want to make sure that you're posting frequently, you're engaging with those people. That way they feel a brand connection to you, and you're posting photos that are actually driving them to buy. So what I would recommend is, if you're not getting like a lot of likes on certain photos and you have 4,000 followers, begin evaluating what type of photos are getting the most likes, and then try to kind of steer in that general direction. You want to look at what's doing well and then keep trying to replicate that type of content. And from there, you just want to make sure that you have obviously all of your information in your bio, your shop link filled out, you're posting frequently, you're talking to people, and you're making it hard to ignore you on Instagram. Your fans should basically know who you are. I know all the brands I follow because I see them constantly.
All right. Product line question. Launching new products around a busy season, before, during, or after? I would say launch them during, like everybody else, because after a busy season, nobody has money.
Right. And I mean, even just a little bit before, for example, I mean, obviously you got to have time to market during a busy season. So if we're talking like Christmas time, your Christmas collection should be about to post like right after Halloween, if not sooner. So when it comes to busy seasons, you got to make sure that you're ahead of the game. If you see stuff in stores, for example, Target was selling bikinis like last month, they started, and we had a blizzard. But if you see that stores are selling seasonal products, then you want to make sure that you're also, getting those products ready for your own shops.
Have you heard the Wendy's rap song? No, we haven't. We'll have to check them out. Ollie, should I spend money on improving my business or opening more shops? I'm assuming you don't have an Etsy shop, just based on our conversations earlier. But honestly, I would probably say improving your business. Yeah, because if you have more than one business, or you have more than one shop, like if you want to chain stuff or whatever, I mean, that's okay. But just think about it in the fact that you're going to be splitting your attention up. So neither business or neither shop is going to be being 100% of your attention. And if you're not somebody like McDonald's, then you need to be putting all of your attention into one. Unless one starts to fail and you have another idea for business, that's kind of what entrepreneurship is. You just got to kind of take risks. It's up to you.
And for example, Ollie, since I know you're not an Etsy seller, think about this.
Might not be an Etsy seller.
Right. Think about this. You might not be an Etsy seller. I had 2 shops. I had one that sold, one type of jewelry, and then my main one that's been featured in news outlets all over the world. And what I found was that when I was dividing my time in half between these 2 shops, I wasn't putting 100% of my effort into the shop that was making the money, because I was trying to run with this squeaky wheel back here. When I put 100% of my effort into my shop that was actually making money, the main shop that I wanted to be known for and focus on, we were able to quit our jobs. Well, I've always worked, but he was able to quit his job. We were able to sell full time. We're buying a house. We do YouTube full time. Like, those are all products of me focusing on what was most important and what I wanted to be known for. So when you're dividing your time out and trying to run multiple shops, you can't run a successful business with 50% or less. You have to have 100% focus on that. And there are shops out there who do okay, having more than one storefront. However, when it comes to having more than one storefront, you just know that you're going to be dividing your time. You're going to have to find some automation systems, because you're still going to have to post all the social media stuff that we talked about. You're going to have to double that. post that for two businesses. And most of these shops that do well with more than one storefront have employees. And that is an entire other, bucket of worms. Then you have to go through, get your LLC, go through hiring processes,
All right.
yada, yada.
All
So
right. Lightning round. What's a rich pin?
Rich pins. We talked about that a little bit ago.
You didn't explain what it was.
A rich pin is it's almost like a Pinterest pin, but like jacked. Like it is a more popular pin. It is better. It's like a business pin, I guess you could call it. You can put your pricing, you can add additional information to those. You're welcome, Ollie. So rich pins are kind of like, think of it like as a business pin. That's kind of like how I like to think of it. Think of it like a business pin.
And product launch question. Product launch question. We're going to get to this one quick. This will be our last question. If you're aiming for a 10-piece product line that's gendered, girl, boy, would you do 5 pieces for each sex or 10 pieces for each? I would determine that based on what your past things show. So if like you have 5 pieces for men, 5 pieces for women
or children,
whatever, and you like never sell any of the ones for boys, then focus more on girls, but it's totally personal preference. I would just say the 10-piece item line is a generalization. You don't have to do exactly 10.
You just want to do more.
You should want to do at least 10, but not so many that you're overwhelming people. So like if you have 7 ideas for girls and 6 ideas for guys, do that. Do whatever you're comfortable with. Just try to get at least 10, but don't go off and do like 70 things on one launch,
Right.
All right. Have you had more items arrive in your PO box? Yes, we've had 5 things in total show up.
Yes, Amber, yours is right back here. We're waiting until we have 10. We have some in our PO box right now.
Or the end of the month. If we don't have 10 by the end of the month, we're just going to record it anyway.
Right. So, and we have stuff in our PO box right now that we haven't picked up yet. But PO box link is down below, you guys. You can grab that link below. We want your products. However, please don't message us and ask us what product we want. Just send us something, because odds are
something. Whatever you think we're going to like or somebody else would like, send it over.
Right. Because most of these products are going to be sent out in giveaways, especially like, unless it's something that, you make specifically for us, or it's something that we really like. For example, I wear like Linda Sue. I bought a necklace from her and I wear it all the time on the channel, and I always shout her out when I wear it, things like that. We will be doing, but if
rules are in the description.
Rules are in the description. Make sure that you read our rules and guidelines.
If you're going to send us anything adult, just make sure that we're not going to feature it anywhere. I don't know. We might just throw it away, but if it's funny, whatever.
And make sure that you include your business card so we can give you a shout out. Also, Handmade Alpha Academy. We are expecting a June launch. Okay. So before summer, it will still be a spring launch. It'll be before summer. First day of summer is June 21st. Our plan is to launch it just sometime before then. So June, keep that date, area, range in mind. We're working nonstop, 16-hour days.
Earlier than later.
Yeah. 16-hour days, 7 days a week. It has been nonstop, but trust me, when you see it, it'll all make sense.
All kinds of trouble and bullcrap going on that we've had to work out.
Don't use HostGator.
Do not use HostGator.
Do not use HostGator.
Screw those guys.
Use SiteGround.
I'm not going to recommend them right away.
Well,
because we haven't had them long enough to know if they're going to give me the same shit that HostGator.
They have a 99% approval rating, though, so we can't recommend.
And they guarantee a 99.9% uptime, which so far ours is at 99.97. So
yeah, so HostGator has been a nightmare. So thanks, guys, so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Splitting attention, but I want to make different products and don't want.
We gotta go. We ain't got time for more questions, guys. I'm sorry. We'll have to get to them next week.
Post them in the group. Yeah, group is linked down below. Post them in the group, and we can carry on conversations there. All right, guys. See you guys later. Bye. Peace.